Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Newfound Happy Hour. My name is Sarah, and this is a podcast mostly where we just talk to cool people doing cool things and sharing advice and experiences and a lot of best friend, big sister energy. And this is the last part of this Mother's Day series that I was doing. There's going to be a part 1 and a part 2 with Melissa. Today is part 1. And in the last 4 episodes, I've spoken to Sarah and Haley, two of my closest friends, about their experiences in early motherhood. Sarah with a 5-week-old and Haley with a 16-month-old. And today, Melissa's talking about her life as a mom of 2 under 2. So she has a lot to say. Like I've said in previous episodes, I think it is good not only for future moms to hear this, but friends and families and partners of them, because there's so much information out there and there's so much to learn, and knowing more about it lets us support those people better. And that has been something I've been curious about, as a lot more of my friends are having kids and starting families. I would say to take everything in these episodes knowing that these birth experiences did not happen in Newfoundland. So obviously things are done differently in different places, different rules and whatnot. So it's good to check where you live specifically, what all the protocols are. But I love hearing about all of this stuff. So let's hear what Melissa has to say. Well, do you want to start with your name and age and where you're living?
Melissa Pettigrew. I am 30 years old and I'm currently living in Cobourg, Ontario, originally from Newfoundland.
So many people that I do this with are like not in the province. So I feel like it's always good to state like most of these people do not live here. They just used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did an episode with my friend Sarah, who has a 5-week-old, Haley, who has a 16-month-old, and then you. I was actually supposed to do an episode with my friend Emily, because she was about to go from having 1 kid to 2. She was pregnant, but she gave birth the week that we were supposed to record. So I was like, we'll let that go.
Oh, wait.
But yeah, so you have 2 kids. What are their ages?
So Cora is just turned 2 in April. So she's just over 2. And then I have Banks, who is just 8 months this week.
Crazy. Time flies.
It is crazy. Where did that go?
Yeah.
I said I feel like we were just downtown on George Street flashing our fake IDs.
Yeah. Where did it go? I know. Haley said she looks at her son sometimes and she's like, where did you come from? Like, what? Like, where did this be? Like, how did this responsibility happen?
Jeff and I looked at each other. We're like, we have 2 children.
Yeah. It's crazy. It'll never like hit me, I don't think. But yeah, do you want to go? I don't know if you want to talk about like both your pregnancies and births.
So, at first I remember when I first got pregnant with Banks, I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? Like, and people always say like, oh, like I love my age gap, but like your age gap is all you really know between your children, right? Like I wouldn't know an age gap of 4 years because I don't have that. But I just feel like you just make it work. So my first pregnancy with Cora, I was 5 days late on her and I thought it was like the end of the world. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like and I had no symptoms of like going into labor whatsoever, a little bit of back pain, that was it. And I remember when I went in with her and I just like it was almost like a breeze. Like I was like instantly got my epidural, like it was great. I felt good, like my legs were going numb. And then I ended up having a C-section with her, which was like completely like I tried to fight it, but it's just like it happens. Your body sometimes can't do it. And then, of course, I found it really hard recovering from Cora. Like, and I only now know that after having Banks because I did what you call a VBAC, and it's a vaginal after cesarean. And you're supposed to wait 2 years, they suggest, but I did it after 18 months and I ended up successfully like delivering Banks. Like, but I remember recovering from Cora, I was in so much pain. Like you have a major abdominal surgery. So like I underestimated a C-section, but I also underestimated like a vaginal birth because some women like are like, oh, I do it unmedicated. Like I was I had such a hard time. I don't know how people do that unmedicated. So like props to them.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a different recovery. I felt like I bounced back a lot quicker on banks, but like everyone's body is so different. So you never really know how to go. But I think maybe I bounced back as well because I had core to take care of. So I had
Mhm.
something keeping me busy.
Right.
So it's you always wonder like what it would be like if it was different, like any other birth story, right? Like you wonder how
Yeah.
everyone went through it. Like, but I definitely feel for the people in both sections because I've had both. Like you never know what
Right.
you're actually going through.
And
But
I feel like most people don't like go through both. Like normally if you have a C-section, you end up having another one.
right. And everyone was saying to me, like, oh, it's so much easier if you just go get a C-section. Like you can schedule it, you'll know, like you'll have someone to watch your kid. And I'm like, yeah, but then like Cora's only 18 months old. She wants me to lift her up. She wants to hang out with
Mm.
me. Like, she doesn't understand. So I was more so doing it for the fact of like Cora didn't get it.
Right.
Like she doesn't understand. So I was like, if I had not an abdominal surgery where I had to restrict myself for her, then like it would be so much easier for her.
Yeah.
So I was trying to kind of make her life as normal as possible still.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I definitely like I'm happy I did that because I saw the different aspect of it, right?
Yeah. So if you were gonna have a third, would you do what one would you do?
No. I honestly, I would probably try and do like a vaginal birth again because it did suck. But I also, one other thing that I like kind of realized afterwards is that I had both aspects of an OB and a midwife. I had an OB with Cora.
Yes.
Didn't love the pregnancy portion of it. Like, there was not very much information. You go in and he's like, oh, how are you? Okay, see you in 2 weeks if you don't have any questions. Whereas a midwife informs you and like gives you all the information you need to feel educated on the decision you're making for like your birthing plan, which was great. Like I love how like they kind of just like throw all this information at you. It's like, here, this is what happens.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. And then you go into your birth, but like your midwife is also on call for 24 hours. And if she's up the entire day before with another birth and then you go into labor,
Right.
she's she's tired. She's only one person. Like, so that's what happened with me is I went into labor at like 1:30 in the morning and with Banks where I had a midwife. And I remember calling her and like she's like, okay, like you have another hour and then head in. And I went in by like 3:30 and she looked exhausted and like the nurses at the hospital, they don't work for your midwife. So they're
Right.
helpful, but they're not as attentive as I found they were with the OB because they are like doing your OB's job pretty much, right? Like until you're
Mhm.
ready to give birth. So like my drugs were always topped up. I felt like I was always taken care of. Everyone was always checking on me. Whereas with my midwife, it's just her. And like no one's coming in to like make sure everything's going well. Like she does your IV, she does this, she gets someone in to do your epidural, but like she's there during all of it. Like so it's just her and like it was cool, but like I kind of like the you don't go without portion of the
Yeah.
OB. So it's a very different like experience also. So like those are two different aspects of it that I feel like I got to experience as well.
Right.
I would probably pick a vaginal and a OB for the next one.
Right.
Another
Yeah.
combo.
It's funny. We were talking about that last time, just about how like you aren't informed. Like, and I was thinking about it after. I could go in and have a baby and really like not know much and not ask much. And no one's making sure that I know things that I really should know,
They aren't
which is
like
crazy.
it's just that's what some people say. Like some of Jeff's friends are like, well, like, had you ever changed a diaper? And I'm like, no, he just did.
Yeah.
And
And
you
ever
just
and of course, like everyone learns,
you don't
but just different.
understand it when you're going in, you're like, you just do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird. Like,
Yeah. Because it's like, how can you, whether you have an OB or a midwife, it's kind of like, how can you advocate for yourself if you don't know
right.
the thing? So yeah, there's like
Yeah,
so many different sides to all of that.
it's so true though. Like I never thought of it like that because it's like, yeah, we just kind of got thrown into it and you just like again, you just do and like you don't know the other sides of it. So
Yeah.
like what if you knew?
Hmm.
Things like
Yeah. And so going from, I always forget that she was 18 months old, going from one to two at with an 18-month-old and a baby. How was that?
Well, we all know Cora is a very strong, independent woman.
Who
She
does
is,
she get that from?
yeah, right. I don't think I even do up her seatbelt anymore. Like she has to do everything herself. Like she
Yeah.
can't. So that was one thing that was like very like challenging because she's so independent and she wants to do everything herself. And then she sees me taking care of this baby. So then she wants to do it too, which is like totally sweet. And like, but like, I feel like when I first came home, I recently reflected on this actually. When I first came home with Banks, it's like they're both my children, but he's just this little helpless baby. And Cora is like going to maul him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like very maternal and like, like you're very protective over this little baby you just brought home towards your
Right.
other child, right? So it's like such a hard balance I found at first, um, to kind of separate that because like I love them both equally, obviously.
Mhm.
But, like you're just like so initially attached hormonally to this little tiny baby.
Yeah.
And I was so protective over him. So I'd get so like frustrated sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, like she's gonna hurt him, like she's not gonna mean to. So like
Yeah.
that was something that I really never expected because
Hmm.
I'm pretty chill and I was pretty chill with Cora, so I thought everything would be like really relaxed, but that was one thing that snuck up on me a little bit. Um, Now that they're both kind of moving, like Banks is like scooting around, almost crawling, they are like the sweetest together. I'm now seeing that bond that people always talk about,
Yeah.
and it's getting easier, but the first little while was like an interesting transition. Like, I have some people that say the transition from two to three is worse than one to two that I
Yeah.
know.
Because then
But
you're
again,
outnumbered.
right. But then again, I don't know that transition, but I'm like, I feel like if I already did it, then I feel like it'd be easier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, but I did find one to two a little bit of a struggle in that sense.
Yeah. Which completely makes sense.
Because like you have this like really like outgoing toddler who's like ready to take on the world, but like you have to sit down and breastfeed your baby.
Yeah.
So it's like two dynamics.
Yeah. Totally. And I mean, I know Banks is only 8 months old, so I don't know. Like, what opinions do you have on gender roles? Because we talked a lot about that in Haley's episode, and not even just like gender roles of like teaching your kids, but her and her partner too.
Yeah. One thing, like Jeff is gone a lot and like he works a lot, but like when he is home, he is so good with the kids. And he always like if Jeff's home, he'll cook. And like Jeff does pretty much all like the fixing around here. Like, and then one thing was like I'm always here. So like it's very easy to do like all the like cleaning and cooking and like Jeff's a way better cook than I am.
Mm.
So like the kids do see that difference, like where we both do different things. Like
Mhm.
also, um, one thing I found is that like I just kind of let Cora do what she wants. I let her like I make sure she helps cook. But then like if she sees a screwdriver, she picks up a screwdriver and she fixes something.
Right.
She's always doing like different things. So it's interesting to see like what kind of like roles they're gonna like see us kind of play because I'm also not back to work yet,
Hmm.
right? So we also live such different lives when we're both working.
Yeah.
So it's funny because like it feels like a very traditional sense when you're first on maternity leave because like I'm doing all the cooking and cleaning, like
Yeah.
I'm taking the kids, I'm doing the grocery shopping, like but then like when Jeff is home and I'm working as well, like it's so different even when we had Cora alone and
Right.
so I'd be curious to know how everyone kind of handles it whenever when you go back to work,
Yeah.
you can like set that standard of like that we both work, we both
Right.
make an equal effort to put energy into everything.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's true. It's like phases don't always last forever either.
Yeah.
Because
So
Haley was saying like they've kind of taken turns like where she's working and then he's home all day and then he's working and she's home all day. Like they've
mhm.
had both. So like I guess it was more a short amount of time for them, but for you guys, like it might be like that now. But like you said, when you go back to work.
Right.
It's different.
I
And
think
then like
there's
everything else is shared equally. It's not like you're going to be expected to do all the housework when you're both working.
right, exactly. So that's the thing is like I found it easier, like I found it more divided when I went back to work. Like we both did equal amount of parts because we had to keep the household up kind of thing. It's like
Hmm.
Jeff, I was working an hour away, so my drive's an hour where Jeff's is only 25 minutes. So Jeff is works longer days and later than me sometimes, but I'm also home at the same time because I have that longer drive. Like
Right.
so like sometimes it would be like he leaves earlier, so I'm the one who takes kids to daycare. But on like the days that like even like right now he's on nights. So he's like, oh, when I get home from nights, I'll have breakfast with the kids. Like so he'll do breakfast.
Right.
Like it's such a funny divide because like you said, like everyone has such different schedules.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's different for everyone. But I think what we were saying last episode with Haley is still so true that like even if that was the situation like 20 years ago when we were kids, I feel like you would still be expected to do the majority of the in
Oh,
like of the traditional things, right? Because like that's what I feel like that's what a lot of our moms did.
100%. 100%. Like I feel like every like even like Jeff's parents are similar. Like his dad works a lot, his mom was always home with the kids. Like so that generation, like and he's a little bit older than I am, like
Mhm.
they are just so like his mom is so like just good at it. Like she just like it just flows in her lifestyle because she's
Yep.
so used to doing it, right? Like it's just like I pick up the kids, I'm gonna pick up my grandkids, I'm gonna go do the laundry, I'm gonna mow the lawn, I'm gonna and like that's the thing. Well, that's one thing recently. Jeff's like, I'm gonna come home and mow the lawn. And I was like, why don't you just like show me how to use the lawnmower?
Yeah.
Because we have a ride on lawnmower. I was like, I'll do it. Like I'm here in the
Yeah.
day.
I love it.
Like I'll do whatever. Like and
Yeah.
again, recently a lot of things that have had to get done with the house Jeff's been working and everything closes at 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? Doesn't get off till 6:15. He's not home till 7. He leaves at 5 o'clock in the morning. So like I'm not gonna be like, hey, you need to go pick up a load of gravel. So
Yeah.
recently I learned how to tow the trailer and pick up gravel because we needed gravel for Core Swing Set. So like there's just those things where you kind of just have to like someone's like, I'd never be able to do that. I'm like, but you would. You just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Was it easy and embarrassing? Was it hard and embarrassing sometimes? Yeah, I was towing that trailer and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Can I make this up? I'm not sure. Let's try. Like,
Yeah.
it
No, I
was
love it.
so you just kind of do because like it's
Yeah.
not gonna be done if we don't. Like,
Right. Love it. I don't know if we even talked about this much with Haley because like she's been away for so much too.
yeah,
So it's similar. And Sarah, like both like everyone is
yeah.
away from their family, which is here in Newfoundland. So yeah, how has that been?
Um, I think I found it harder. Like I really enjoyed like moving away and having like um the ease of travel, like the less expense of travel, and like just like being open to like doing different things, like being in Ontario again, like we're kind of on the outskirts of the city, which I like. Like we're still in,
Hmm.
we can still go like on the four-wheelers and skidoos and stuff like that. Like so we do have like that kind of happy medium still. But I will say that the one thing that I found the hardest about being away from home was when I had kids. Like as soon as I had my kids, I was like, wow, they're not going to grow up the way I did. Like, running
Right.
up to PJs and going to Atlas and like, you know what I mean? Like just
Mhm.
those things and going to the Torbay Beach. Like, so it's like those things are things that I thought my kids would always grow up with.
Right.
When you grow up, you're like, oh, my kids are going to do this one day. Like, and now like they're not going to. So I'm like, oh, like, but I do try to remind myself that it's like the life I chose, and I chose to be with someone who has created a life here, like, and we have started a life here. So that's what the
Mhm.
hardest thing is. Like, but I did find it for sure hard because I like want my friends to grow up around my kids. So like I miss that you guys can't like just come and see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that was something I found really hard.
Yeah. And it is hard, but at the same time, like you're also lucky that you've been able to come home a few times too.
Oh my
Like
God, yes.
it feels like there's no time. Like, I mean, I remember seeing Cora when she was like a fresh baby
I
and
know.
like months later, like I have so many pictures with her of like different stages and like it's crazy that like we actually don't see each other that often.
I know. And that's the thing is I was talking to someone about that yesterday and like someone from here, they're like, oh, we haven't seen each other in this long, but like you just pick up where you left off. And I said,
Mhm.
that's exactly what I feel like when I see my friends from home. Like you just pick up where you left off. It just like it feels like no time has passed.
Yeah.
Like, and then one other thing I found hard, like through all this was like, I'm sad about not being home, like having that extra support of my family and like you have a baby and you want your mom to be there, obviously, you know what I mean? So like I wish that my mom was closer as well. Like that's one thing that I definitely struggle with. Um, but also then like the postpartum aspect of everything.
Stay tuned for part 2, where she talks more about postpartum and meeting and leaning on mom friends. I would encourage everyone to go back and listen to the previous episodes of this mini series for Mother's Day. It is good to note that everyone really does have different experiences and opinions, and no two pregnancies are alike. I've heard a lot of people say that, and it really is true. And that's why it's so important to protect everyone's right to choose when it comes to reproductive health care, because no two pregnancies or births are the same. And speaking of reproductive health care, after part 2 of this episode, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into my experience coming off of birth control. I've had some friends share their experiences as well. And it's something that I couldn't really find a lot of information on. I mean, there is a lot of information out there, but you really have to look for it. And I was kind of looking for just a simple video or podcast episode explaining what to do or the best way to come off it. And I know that there are doctors that are more aware of the process and naturopaths and things like that that can help. But I really just wanted to try and learn for myself. And so that's going to be an episode full of basically my experience during those first few months. And maybe it will help other people if they're in the same boat. So stay tuned for that. Episodes come out every Friday, sometimes every other Friday. And you can find me at Newfound Happy Hour on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Have a good weekend.